Hello, Wolfpack. I'm stepping away a little bit from the Bitcoin analysis today. And the reason being is because I want to talk about something that's a little bit more important that I think people need to get as a direct message. It's actually very important. And I made a video very similar to this towards the top of the bull market in 2021. Now, at that time, I think it was October 2021, I was still bullish in the market. We hadn't reached our all-time highs yet at that point. And I was just saying to people, be careful, right? Because a lot of people are going to try to catch the top exactly, and a lot of people are going to fail catching the top exactly. And I think that catching the top is a lot less risky than catching the bottom, right? Because when you catch the top, you're just selling out of all your assets. So whether it goes up more or not, you're not losing money because you've sold into cash. But catching the bottom's a little bit more risky. And this is why this video is very, very important, because in catching a bottom, you can lose a lot of money buying into price levels that aren't the actual bottom, and it just keeps going down. And yeah, you can say, well, it's just going to go up eventually anyway over a long period of time. That's not guaranteed, right? And even if it is guaranteed, you don't want to be putting yourself at a portfolio loss, a net loss, for years on end until it gets back to the price level at which you thought it was going to bottom at. And it leads me to my main point in this video that I'm going to be articulating quite clearly. I'm not going to say don't catch the bottom, right? Or don't try to catch the bottom. But I will say be very cautious in trying to do so. Because the vast majority of time and the vast majority of people are going to be incorrect. Probably including myself, right? I've said on multiple occasions, and you guys are very, very much aware of my opinion on Bitcoin at this point. And if you're not, I just don't think you're listening very hardly or very closely. I think that Bitcoin's going to bottom out in Q4. I'm very confident in the date range that Bitcoin's going to bottom out in. I'm not very confident in the price range that Bitcoin's going to bottom out in. And that's evident in the fact that I've changed my price prediction on a few occasions here. Now, initially, up in November 2021, I said 24K. I thought 24K was going to be the bottom, right? Just about a month ago, I changed that. I said, I don't know if the 200 weeks is going to hold, right? I said maybe 14K, right? Changed it again recently. Maybe 11.5K to 13.5K. Why am I changing my prediction so much from the bottom price? Because it's not clear. There's not much evidence for me to pull out of thin air to determine where the bottom will be. The only piece of constructed evidence we have on Bitcoin right now as to where the bottom will be is the 200-week SMA. And as you guys would know, it seems very unlikely that we're going to be holding that due to a recession, which I talked about in the last video, right? There's a recession in the United States of America, and very much indeed for the global economies, like around the world, worldwide recession. And given the fact that we've just nosedived into that, we're only in the middle of it. What makes you think Bitcoin's going to hold the current price level? Going into 75 basis point hikes. They're still ramping up the hikes. They're not lowering it down. They're ramping up the speed of which they're combating inflation. That's not good for traditional markets. That's not good for Bitcoin. We've covered this, right? So, yeah, to me, it seems unlikely we hold the 200-week SMA. It seems unlikely, right? I don't think it's going to do it. And, that kind of leads you into territory of, well, where's the bottom going to be? And we don't know, right? Because we've never seen a bottom on Bitcoin below the 200-week SMA. I'm going to show you a chart quickly. This is the macro history chart of Bitcoin, right? You can see that green line there. That is the 200-week SMA. You can see that every single time Bitcoin has stooped down to bear market low levels, 2015, 2018, 2020, right? If you can consider 2020 a bear market, it was more like a black swan event. But still, every time we've reached those levels, we have not closed a convincing weekly candle below the 200-week SMA. The 200-week SMA is, by all means, what we would consider to be the macro bottom on Bitcoin, okay? And by all means, given the fact that the trend is your friend until it ends, you would be right to assume that Bitcoin might bottom out here. And it might. But the point is, with the macro situation worsening, we can be pretty confident in the fact that it won't. And with the fact that the 4-year cycle is not predicting a bottom until Q4 this year, and we're already at the supposed target, if you're assuming it's a 200-week SMA, again, we can be pretty confident it won't bottom at 200-week SMA. We can be pretty confident it's going to go below that. So then it leaves you in a space in which it's like, well, we don't have any other data. There's no other data out there, right? The only way we can make decisions about where the bottom will be, where the top will be, where the local range price will be is based on data, historical evidence. Everything in trading is based on historical evidence, even down to the daily patterns you use, symmetrical triangle formations. Why do they work? Because we've analyzed them, and historically speaking, we've seen them break out to the upside 73% of the time, right? Ascending triangles, sorry. Right? Descending wedges, why do they work? They're nothing. They don't mean anything, right? When we apply the lines to them, we can understand, hey, that's the pattern. And historically speaking, that pattern generally breaks to the upside more than it breaks to the downside. When we're talking about the Bitcoin bottom, we can say, okay, Historically speaking, we generally bottom on a 200-week SMA. There's nothing in TA, there's nothing in investing, there's nothing in trading that is anything other than historically speaking. And the fact that it hasn't happened yet, but the fact that we might and very well probably will, I'm not going to say we will, but we probably will lose the 200-week SMA, means that we will have no historical data, no historical indication as to where the Bitcoin bottom will be. None at all, right? So this kind of further drives through the initial point. I want to bring it back to full screen here because it's more about talking now. We do not have a clear-cut indication of where the bottom will be on Bitcoin. That's a fact. And there's nothing we can do about that. We have an indication that it will be in Q4. That's a fact. Okay, that's the 4-year cycle trend. It's not a theory, it's a trend, right? But we don't know where the bottom will be in prices. So how do we react to that? How do we get around that? What you do, just like in every other aspect of investing and trading ever, I don't know why people think it's different for bottoms and tops. What you do is you wait for a trend reversal. If you have no indication of where the bottom will be, trying to constantly catch the knife at certain price levels, honestly, it's gambling, right? It's gambling with a little bit more of your favor because you've got knowledge in TA, you've got knowledge in support levels, but it's basically just gambling, right? So the logical thing you can do is put a little bit in where you think the bottom will be. 20%, maybe 30%, heck, maybe 50% depending on your portfolio size. And then put the rest in when we get a confirmed macro breakout to the upside that confirms a renewal to the bullish trend, right? Or a renewal to the 4-year cycle theory, or a renewal in the fact that the bottom is in, right? I'm going to show you where that will be, and I'm going to show you a game plan of how you can interact, how you can kind of put that in place. Back here on the macro chart for Bitcoin. Okay, so basically assuming you think, for example, let's say you're a person who thinks the bottom is going to be quite like me. You think the bottom's going to be either at like 18K or like 13.5K, right? That's basically my opinion on Bitcoin. I think it's going to be either like 18K in Q4 or 13.5K to 11.5K in Q4. Either one of those support zones, I'd be happy to consider my prediction on the bottom. I'm not exactly sure which one, would be. If I had to guess, I'd say the 11.5K to 13.5K is more likely, but you know what I mean, right? I'm not confident enough to really just go out there and say, oh yeah, no, it's going to be here, because I'm really not confident in that. For reasons that I've gone through in this video. But what I can do, okay, given the fact that I think these 3 price points, or these 2 price points, because one of them is a zone, are the potential bottoms for Bitcoin, what I can do is I can say, okay, I've got 100% of my portfolio, okay, it's all sitting in stable coins, it's all sitting in fiat currency, right? I'm going to deploy 20% here, and if we go down here, I'm going to deploy another 20%. That means I still have 60% in reserve. And when we get a confirmed trend reversal, right, in form of a break above the 50-week SMA, which we never break above unless we enter a macro bullish trend, right, historically speaking, which is based on everything in TA, then I will deploy the other 60% of my portfolio. Again, delete everything, right? Put in, this is, for example, 20% at your suspected bottom, 30% at your suspected bottom, whatever it may be. But don't go all in at the suspected bottom, because it could very well keep dropping, and it could very well, I hate to say it, not recover. I think Bitcoin will recover. I think crypto is going to recover, but it might not. Remember, it's the technology that's important, not the orange coin, right? That's very important to remember. And so, when we look at the historical trend, again, everything on TA is based on historical data. We can see that the 50-week SMA, once we break above it, it generally indicates a bullish trend. We drop below it here only due to the COVID drop, right? If the COVID drop didn't happen, that's a black swan event. It's unpredictable. We would have just gone upwards. So I'd say that indicates a bullish trend once again. And when we break above the 50-week SMA, that would be an indication that Bitcoin will in fact survive the bear market, and it will in fact recover to new highs as per the 4-year cycle theory. And that should be a price point in which you buy in with the vast majority of your portfolio. You should not be out here trying to buy the bottom with every cent you have. It's a very dangerous game, and trust me, you will get burnt, right? How do you think I predicted the top in 2021, right? I talk about it a relatively large amount, right? I obviously predicted the top in 2021. Now, I didn't predict the top, obviously, right? I actually said, first and foremost, at 66K, okay? We topped out at 69K. I said at 66K, this doesn't look very good. Sell all of your coins. Sell all of your coins at 66K. I was not going to say it's a bear market because I had no indication to think it was a bear market. We hadn't flipped the important levels yet. Once we lost 58K, I said, okay, you should have sold all your coins a couple weeks ago. Right now, I'm labeling it a bear market, right? what did I do? I de-risked before the matter of fact came, right? It's the same thing to the downside. Same thing to the downside, right? When the matter of fact comes, when the macro trend flips back bullish, that's when you go in. That's when you label it, bullish trend. That's when you buy in the vast majority. You don't try to constantly catch the bottom because it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out, especially when you lose the 200-week SMA, which we think is going to happen. It doesn't work out like that, right? So, a lot of people are going to be out here and they're going to be saying all over Twitter, all over YouTube, whatever, that, you got to make a bottom prediction. Should I buy now? It's 14K. Should I buy? You should buy a certain percentage, a small allocated percentage of your portfolio that you were willing to lose at the suspected bottom, and you should buy the bulk of your portfolio at the trend reversal point, which will be higher than the bottom, and you have to accept that. You're sacrificing reward and you're lowering your risk in the process. It's a trade-off. Everything in this is a trade-off. Everything investing is a trade-off. Risk-reward ratios, they adjust based on where you're entering, based on where your stop loss are, take profit, etc. Everything in the investing game, everything in the trading game is a trade-off. And with that, I'll end the video content there, but I do want to talk about a few things, and I highly recommend, and I highly suggest, and I highly appreciate it if you stick around and listen to the last couple of minutes here. So first and foremost, the BitGet Exchange. Now we have futures, half the fees of Binance, spot, half the fees of Binance. We use on the V.I.P channel futures on BitGet Exchange because again, it's half the fees of Binance, and also it has a very, very interesting system in which it can avoid scam wicks. It's built in the exchange. In Binance, you have many, many scam wicks coming basically every day on certain coins in which you get scammed out of position due to a liquidation wick that didn't actually happen in the rational price action. It only happened on the Binance exchange. BitGet has systems in place to ensure that your money is safe in a trade and nothing irrational is going to happen. If you lose your money, it's your fault because of the market, right? There's nothing on the exchange's end that's going to go wrong that's going to make you lose your money. That's why I like BitGet. I highly recommend you sign up using my referral link in the description below. We've also got the Crypto Academy. If you want to learn how to do TA like me, if you want to learn the mindset of myself as well, and Megawell Crypto is another person who developed this with me, we're co-owners of the Crypto Academy, you can check out the Crypto Academy website here and you can see what the course, a 10-unit course called Become a Trader, offers, right? We offer everything from mindset, candlestick patterns, indicators, market patterns, the whole 9 yards, literally everything you need to know to go from a level of trading of which you don't even know what money is to a level of trading which you're fully competent and ready to start career trading. Through about 40 hours of course content. I know it sounds like an exaggeration, but trust me, we've done it here. And you can go ahead and check out our Trustpilot. It should come up here somewhere. Maybe it's not loading because of my computer. But we have a Trustpilot as well that you can check out on the website. Just use the link in the pinned comment. You can check out some of the reviews that are flowing through there. Only a few reviews at this point, but more are coming through because we've only just recently made it. We had to send out the Trustpilot link to some of the people who already bought the course, which by the way is over 100 people. So you wouldn't be in bad company. You'd be one of many students in this course here. Go ahead and check that out. And then lastly, we're looking at Wolves of Crypto VIP. Again, click the join button, right? And you'll see it on my homepage. Click the join button. 28 USD a month, 48 USD a month, AUD a month, so 28 USD a month. Very, very, very cheap, which is about $1 a day for an altcoin trading signal every second day, prioritized reply to comments by me, a 2-hour video on market psychology, and access to a weekly newsletter. I mean, name one other YouTuber, one other Twitter channel, one other the V.I.P group owner who's going to give you all of that, 4 separate things for the price of 28 USD a month. You're not going to name them. You're not going to name them. We recently had a trade 2 days ago, a Theta trade, Theta token. You guys know Theta token. I've spoken about it quite a bit in the past. Well, some of the OGs would, I assume, because I spoke about it during the bull market actually quite a bit. But we pulled about 15 to 20% profit in a matter of less than a day on Theta recently. And during this recent drop on Bitcoin, we pulled over 200% profit on short positions over the variety of around 5 trades, I think, average of like 25% per trade. Pretty crazy stuff we were pulling over there, or 30% per trade. And so I highly recommend you check that out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll catch you tomorrow for Bitcoin analysis. TA this time. Cheers. Thanks. Have a good one.